Hello, 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 everybody. Hello. It's our special sub chat Sunday. Hello and welcome. Welcome, welcome. Hopefully, I have the comments turned on okay. Good evening. Hello, Adrian. Hello. Kristen, are you here? Are you able to chat? I want to make sure I've got my sub chat on correctly. Hello, Hitch. Hello, hello, Ice Horse. Good to see you, especially icy these days. Good evening. Hello, Mads. Are we in sub chat only okay? Your favorite is here. We can start, Kristen. Oh, my goodness. Well, thank goodness. Oh, my goodness. All right, excellent. Thanks, Jennifer. Welcome, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. So I do once a week a special sub chat only session, just as a special thank you to all of my subscribers. Thanks, Mads. And also to give my moderators kind of the evening off. So welcome in. I'm just taking comments only from subscribers, but everyone's welcome to join and hang out with us for a little bit. So it's icy, but the horses are warm. Oh, I love to hear it. I love to hear it. That's fantastic. Well, welcome in, everybody. It's been a busy day today. Busy. So this is my third live for today. So just to give everyone a heads up and get us all on the same page, this morning I started off with, what did I start off with? Hold on. I have to review now. Just a minute. Oh, dear. Right. Hello, Suze. Good to see you. So I started this morning with the letter from Haba. Oh my gosh, -2. Oh my gosh, goodness. So Ms. Haba had written to the judge in the E. Jean Carroll case and had asked for it to be moved to the 21st due to Melania's mother passing. So that letter I read this morning, and then at noontime today, I did go through Mr. Trump's response to whether or not he should have to plead advice of counsel as his affirmative defense. So that was today over the lunch hour. And so here's the third one. We're back. Third time's a charm. We're here for the sub chat special that I like to do on Sundays. So that should have caught everybody up. That's about it. So we've got that for tonight. And then just kind of looking into this next week, everyone. I did put a post up kind of going through what we'd be covering this week. Tomorrow is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Don't forget the junior, everybody. A lot of people do, and I promise you there's a junior involved. It's not just MLK, it's Martin Luther King Jr. I promise you. Fact check me. But that's tomorrow, and so I will be going through the E. Jean Carroll evidence. So going through how the listing of the evidence and which evidence the judge is allowing and which evidence he's not allowing. We do have a motion in limine that was answered. So that's to prep us for the Carroll trial that will be starting on Tuesday. This will be a jury trial only over the damages portions in the first Carroll case. We have 2 Carroll cases regarding defamation. The first one has to do with statements that were made in June. The second one has to do with statements that were made in October, along with a battery. So Carroll 2 has already been taken care of, but Carroll 1, there has been a finding of liability, but we do not have a damages amount. So that's what the jury will be looking at on Tuesday. Also, I will be doing a Florida full update here. We'll be going through the different witnesses that Jack has listed. He has filed several things explaining who he's planning to call, so we'll go through that on Tuesday. I will be off on Wednesday and then back again Thursday in the U.S. Supreme Court case for Colorado, the 14th Amendment case. Mr. Trump's brief is due, along with any amici or amicus, however you want to say it. That's due on Thursday, so that will be our Super 14th Amendment Live. All of these will be, of course, at 7 o'clock Central Time, and then I will be off again on Friday and Saturday. So that's what this week is looking like, everyone. And, of course, I always hop on to do bonus lives when something new and interesting, or just new, maybe not that interesting, but when new things are filed. We're moving, we're hopping, people. We're hot potatoes here, so it's quick. It's a quick situation, so we're trying to stay on top of it as best as we can. Thank you, Kristen. Oh, my goodness. So Welcome in, everybody. Again, I do my sub chat only just once a week. All my other lives, I open comments up for anyone who would like to join, but I do reserve my Sunday evening chats to my subscribers as a special thank you for all of the toner and paper and highlighters. I'm very thankful for that. So for tonight, everybody, last week, if you will remember, when last we were together, we went through Ginny Thomas's testimony that she gave for the Jan 6 committee. We went through that and kind of talked about that a little bit. So tonight, I have another, I kind of like to do on my sub chats these kind of bigger, more controversial pieces. I think it's a little bit easier to have a conversation with easier, less angst maybe in the chat. But so tonight I have this letter from Representative Raskin. Now, we have recently, I also went through an oversight committee out of Congress who had put out some information regarding how much money Mr. Trump had profited from foreign nations, foreign entities, incorrectly in violation of the Emoluments clause out of the Constitution. Now, as we all know, the president, as the sitting president, is not allowed to take gifts or titles or anything of any kind of value. They're not supposed to accept anything from a foreign entity. So because that would be an issue and it's a violation of the Constitution. So a full report was out and they came out with this number of $7,886,072. So this was the amount of money they found, and that was just to get started. This is just a start. They had only a certain number of countries they were looking at, and for a certain period of time, and only a certain number of companies as well. So Representative Raskin said, hey, we want that back. No gold bars either. Exactly, people. Don't be taking gold bars. That's not right. You're not allowed to do that. It's in the Constitution. So a lot of things are really unclear in the Constitution, but that is something that is pretty clear. We talked about how JFK had to decline like a ceremonial citizenship to Ireland. We've had kings that have given gifts that presidents have said thanks, but no thanks. No free hotel stays. Exactly. So, it's not just Mr. Trump. They're constantly, people are giving gifts, and sometimes that's a cultural thing. It absolutely would be acceptable to give, and actually needed, required, expected, and actually needed in certain countries. But our Constitution prohibits our president and our federal employees from taking those gifts. We're not allowed to do it at the federal level because of how the Constitution's written. So a lot of people understand that, gifts aren't usually taken, but they don't know why, and that's because of the Constitution. They said it was for saying hello. Right. Well, I tell you, I've been in several different places where I have been showered, and everyone with me have been showered with gifts, and you're like, oh my gosh, thanks for the gold, but no, thank you. Oh, if you are federally employed, all right? Because you're not supposed to do that, especially if you're the president. We've got the emoluments clause here. So not allowed, and Mr. Trump violated that. That would, of course, be proper grounds for an impeachment, but he's no longer the president, so impeachment only works on the sitting president. So I do have the letter then that was sent. Now, you'll have to forgive me. There's a few spots that are a little bit lighter. This was right before I got my new toner in, everybody. Thank you again, subscribers, for the toner. But I think we'll be able to see it okay. So people would $20 to their term papers. Oh, absolutely. I have someone in my world who travels the entire world, all over Africa, Asia, Eastern Europe. It doesn't matter, all around the world. And he would come back and explain how the systems worked in a lot of other places. And we don't do that here. You can see, okay, I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, we just can't do that here. In other countries, it's fine. You have to kind of pack your bribes in your third bag, but we just don't. Not allowed. So, oh my goodness. I'm not being judgmental. I'm just telling you the Constitution. So let me go ahead and label this letter, everybody, and then I'll go through it and we can kind of talk about it. Professor, oh yeah. Oh, I bet, Sarah, I bet. Yep. Not even their free first class update. Absolutely, absolutely, Daisy May. I mean, you can't even accept like a bottle of champagne or something along those lines. That's just not acceptable because of how the Constitution's written. So this is a letter here to Trump. Here from, I want to make sure I spell his name correctly. So let me double check in the back. Raskin. I always want to change that I into an E, but that's incorrect. So we have a ranking member. We'll call him Representative Raskin with an I. And this was dated the 12th. So we'll go through and talk a little bit about that. Not just listener miss. Oh, absolutely. Welcome, Casey. Good to see you. I'm glad you could make it. I'm glad. I eventually catch everybody. Eventually. It takes a little time. I'm trying to kind of do shorter lives, but much more frequently to catch more people and get some in the day as well. So, yes, no trolls, Mads. No trolls. We'll keep it troll free tonight. So we'll welcome in everyone. I will go ahead and get this up here and take a drink of tea. Hopefully everyone is doing well. And then I will dive into this letter. Lots of interesting things to talk about in here. And hopefully you can keep in the back of your mind this report that he will be referring to multiple times here. So here we go. And for those of you that are not subscribers, welcome. I'm always glad to share knowledge and information with everyone. I just kind of do something a little extra special on Sundays. So here we go. Dear President Trump, I write today to demand that you immediately return to the American people the $7,886,072. Now, if memory serves everybody, I'm pausing for a moment. I believe there was like 42 cents, actually, too, if we want to get specific. But I may be wrong. It may be something different than 42 cents, but I'm pretty sure. I believe it was 42 cents, but they dropped the cents, so good for them. That we know you have accepted from foreign governments in violation of the U.S. Constitution's Foreign Emoluments Clause. I will say that name wrong 100 times tonight. I apologize. A fact you admitted once again at a Fox News town hall this week. Oh dear. Here we go. Footnote number 1. Trump won't pledge to divest from businesses if he wins a second term. Under CNBC online link here, Democracy 2024, Iowa Town Hall with former President Donald Trump, Fox News, January 10th. Well, that's interesting. Okay, I don't think you can just not do that. I think you actually have to do that or you won't be able to be president. But all right, here we go. Interesting. Given that this is a fraction of your unconstitutional collections from foreign governments, and that we do not yet know the complete sum of foreign money you accepted while in office, I also demand you give Congress a full accounting of the money, benefits, and other emoluments of any kind whatsoever you pocketed. Ouch, that's not very nice. From foreign governments or their agents during your term as president, and that you return the total sum of these foreign emoluments to the American people by writing a check to the U.S. Treasury like the one attached, which you received from the Kuwaiti government. Ouch, that's a harsh burn. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, footnote number 2. Ouch, that's harsh, everybody, harsh. Yikes. Okay, so we're citing the Mazars Oversight Committee here. And, oh my gosh, let's just take a look at that check real quick. They want a check. Like, what's a check? I've never heard of this thing called a check before. Let's see if he's included it in this letter so we can familiarize ourselves with what a check looks like. I don't know if he's included it or not. Oh, he has. Oh, well, thanks. Thanks for that. Here we go, everybody. Oh my goodness gracious. All right. So here we go. This is what a check looks like for those who are new to this. So we have the Embassy of the State of Kuwait, and it's paid to the order of Trump International Hotel, Washington, D.C. $77,456. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, that's so harsh. That's really harsh. So he gave an example of what a check looks like in case they don't know what it. Oh my gosh. I don't know, everybody. Was that too much? Was it too much to include the check? Was it too much? I don't know. I'm not sure if that was if that was too much. That's a lot of gold Sharpies. Oh my goodness. I know. Oh my gosh. No, it wasn't too much. Okay, it wasn't too much. All right. Fair enough. Yes, thank you, of course, to all of the subscribers. Very thankful. So, all right. So we have a check from the government. It's not too much. Okay, let's just take a look again here. We have $77,456. So, again, if you're not familiar with what a check looks like, here's one from the Embassy of Kuwait. Oh, yikes. Oh, my goodness. This is getting started off pretty hot. He's coming on pretty hot here. Oh, he has the best memory. Yeah, it can't hurt to refresh it. I agree. In a report I released last week entitled White House for Sale, How Princes, Prime Ministers, and Premiers Paid Off President Trump. It's a lovely title. It's not an instigating title at all. The Oversight Committee's Democratic staff used the limited and incomplete set of receipts, ledgers, and other documents produced to the committee by your former accounting firm, Mazars USA LLP, as well as publicly available information to prove that, as president, you accepted at least $7.8 million from, at a minimum, 20 foreign governments and one self-declared political entity, including some of the most corrupt and authoritarian regimes in the world, through your businesses. So is it worse? Let me ask you this, everybody. Is it worse to just accept money from everyone, or is it worse if you're accepting it from authoritarian regimes? I'm curious what everyone's thoughts. Like, yeah, you shouldn't be taking money from foreign entities, but especially the authoritarian ones. Like, does that make the money extra bad if you get it from them? What was the letter from? Oh, thank you, Alice. The letter is just from Representative Raskin, who's the ranking member, to Trump. It's worse from the authoritarian. It's worse. It's extra bad. I don't think so. Well, it spends the same. I'm not sure. It's extra bad. Okay. Because, that means then that we are having some canoodling then. Both are awful. Authoritarian's worse. Okay, it's worse. All right, so it matters. It does matter then. The enemies of democracy, since Trump claims Biden is doing such well. Exactly, Rocky, exactly. All right, well, okay, I see where you're coming from. Makes sense. It's more dangerous. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree. Like Cuba money versus UK money. Yeah, fair enough. Do they have... Okay. Yeah, I agree. So we've got authoritarian regimes make it worse. He's okay with that. So he's okay taking their money. It's sus to be cozying up with authoritarian governments. Well, yes, that's true. That is true. All right, here we go. We're moving along then. Now that that's been debated. Like, what exactly were they buying? I think they were, for Kuwait, I think it had to do with his hotels. So all of this money went through his businesses, where they had to pay his businesses in order to be in certain places. All right, a copy of the report is enclosed for your reference and convenience. And we have kind of gone through that report before. So next page here. Oh, here I made this and I forgot to put it back on. So here we go. Next page. The Constitution makes it clear that as president, without the consent of Congress, so again, you can accept, but you just have to get consent first. Consent's very important. That's an important piece here. If you get consent, then it's okay. You were prohibited from accepting any present, emolument, office, or title of any kind, whatever, from any king, prince, or foreign state. I think we really are anti-monarchy here, I think. We definitely are uncomfortable with that. So let's look down here to number 4, and we're citing Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8, which, of course, as we know, is the emoluments clause here. So consent is very important in all situations. I absolutely agree, Lisa, absolutely. Critically, the report was unable to provide a full accounting of the total amount of foreign emoluments you accepted as president, and thus was unable to determine precisely what you owe the American people. You spent years litigating against the committee to prevent us from obtaining any documents regarding the foreign emoluments you received while in office. That's true. Let me remind you of two specific cases here, actually three. There's the Mazars case, there's the Vance case, and then there is the, I'm going to spell it wrong, Deutsche Bank case. So there are actually three cases, and all of these went up to the Supreme Court regarding subpoenas. Just so you know, in case you're wondering what cases those are. So here we go. The Supreme Court rejected your attempt to prevent the facts from coming to light by reaffirming Congress's well-established authority to obtain such information. Well, they said you have to obtain it properly, let's be clear. And the parties reached a settlement regarding Mazars' production. In January of 2023, however, a mere 4 months after Mazars had begun producing documents to the committee, Representative James Comer, as the new chairman of the Committee on Oversight and Accountability, worked with your attorneys to stop Mazars from producing any further documents and curtail the committee's investigation. That's not surprising. Okay, do we get it? TS. Okay, thank you. Sorry, here we go. All right, so moreover, the ledgers and receipts the committee ultimately received from Mazars, together with publicly available information, covered just 4 of your more than 500 opaque businesses and just 2 years of your presidency, and were themselves materially incomplete in many respects. And so then we've got footnote 6, which bumps us down. Notably, Mazars has stated that due to the filings made by the New York Attorney General on January 18th of 2022, our own investigation and information received from the internal and external sources, the statements of financial condition it produced for Donald J. Trump should no longer be relied upon. Okay, well, that's interesting. And then we've got the attorney signing that here. Okay. Whew, all right. Yet, even this narrow window revealed that you accepted at least $7.8 million from at least 20 foreign governments, including China, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, I'm saying that wrong, Qatar, Kuwait, Malaysia, the Philippines, Turkey, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Each of these countries sought, and in many cases obtained, favors and specific policy outcomes from you and your administration while they made these payments. So we would need some proof of this, and if you're wondering, well, they're just saying it. There is actually proof in the report, along with the report he's talking about here, White House for Sale, I guess is what they called it. This is the name of the report here, but there's actually a second volume, and the second volume is just the evidence of who spent what, where, when, and why, and how. So that's like a second installment. So both of those are available online for anyone interested. But we do have number 7 here. So Committee on the Oversight and Accountability, Democratic staff, and then the name here of their presentation or their book, their thesis that they set out. Your violations of the U.S. Constitution and failure to place your duty of loyalty to the American people over your personal financial interests are entirely willful and knowing. You chose not to divest of your ownership of the more than 500 businesses and business entities that you owned when you entered the White House, despite the advice of ethics experts from across the political spectrum, and you did not adopt a rule of refusing foreign government payments. Instead, you chose to place your businesses in a trust whose explicit purpose was to hold assets for the benefit of Donald J. Trump and which could distribute net income in principle to you. Not sure we're divesting, but whenever you requested. Oh, so he could get money anytime he wanted. So there's that. Let's take a look here. Footnote 8. Certification of trustee of the Donald J. Trump Revocable Trust. Here's an online link if you're interested. And then we have a Washington Post. Who's running the company now is the article. And it falls short in every report. Ethics experts pan Trump's conflicts. New York Times here. So again, always important to note who your sources are. Double check them and determine if you find them dependable or not. You also retain the ability to receive reports on any profit or loss on your businesses. And here's footnote number 9. Trump can quietly draw money from the trust whenever he wants. New documents show, according to a Washington Post article, again, If that's trustworthy to you or not is up for you to determine. As such, you retained effective control over and continued to receive the complete financial benefit of the businesses you owned while you served as president. You then chose to allow foreign governments and their agents to pay at least millions of dollars to your business entities. And finally, you chose not to obtain or even seek Congress's permission to keep these payments, even though the Constitution explicitly requires you to do so. So that's important. Right. I note with dismay that on social media, your son, Eric Trump, referred to the Democratic staff report detailing your violations of the Foreign Emoluments Clause as, quote, a joke, end quote, and claimed, quote, all foreign government profits for stays at our hotels and other properties while my father was in office were voluntarily donated to the United States Treasury. Footnote number 10. And he's citing Eric Trump's own post on, is this the app formerly known as the Twitter? Oh my goodness. To be clear, the Constitution imposes a categorical prohibition on a president's receipt of any payments from foreign governments without Congress's consent, a prohibition that extends to all revenues and not merely profits attributable to spending by foreign governments. And we have footnote 11. Down here, again, United States Constitution, Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8. Back up we go. The Constitution does not merely forbid the receipt of profits. It forbids the receipts of any present emoluments, office or title of any kind whatsoever or whatever. Hence, by its plain language, the Foreign Emoluments Clause does not give presidents any discretion to select subcategories of foreign emoluments to return to the American people in order to keep others without Congress's approval. If you think Congress would have swallowed your arguments that you should have been able to accept all the money from foreign states other than that portion which you subjectively describe as profits, you should have followed the Constitution and come to Congress to ask for our permission. Ouch. That's harsh. Pretty harsh language there. As the report explains, it is hard to imagine a more ludicrous and half-hearted approach to the categorical prohibition in the Constitution than the Trump Organization's voluntary donation policy, which was grossly under-inclusive in several other respects. By its own terms, the policy applied only to certain Trump properties, excluded state-controlled entities, and was not subject to any kind of audit or inspection. And then we've got number 12 here. A letter from the ranking member, Elijah Cummings, Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, to George Sorial, Executive Vice President and Chief Compliance Officer of the Trump Organization, dated May 24th, 2017. And here's the link here for anyone who's interested. Astonishingly, this policy is in effect a clear admission that the Trump Organization intended to accept payments from foreign governments and their agents without Congress's approval, in clear violation of the Constitution. Your acceptance of foreign emoluments while in office was a stunning violation of the U.S. Constitution and a profound betrayal of the interests of the United States and the trust of the American people. You must immediately pay the American people the $7,886,072 we now know you accepted in payments from foreign governments in violation of the Constitution. Further, you must provide Congress with a full accounting of all payments, benefits, or other emoluments you received from foreign governments or their agents, including through the more than 500 entities you own during your term as president. And you must pay to the American people the total amount in the foreign emoluments that you accepted as president. I look forward to your prompt response and send you greetings for a happy and law-abiding new year. Law-abiding new year. Ouch! That's harsh. Oh my goodness. Sincerely, Jamie Raskin, the ranking member here. Oh my goodness. And then we copied it to the Honorable James Comer. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, okay, what do you think? Is he going to pay? Is there any way he would possibly pay for that? I mean, come on. The last line, I know. Law-abiding new year. I know it. All right, so let's put on a visual here. So again, here's the check. Never. No, I don't think so. I don't think he'll pay it either. That's an awesome letter. I agree. I think he did a pretty good job. Again, and we went through that report before. It is incredibly detailed. It's an incredibly detailed report. And again, in the second volume is all of the receipts literally signed by all of the people that were involved. So there's quite a bit of evidence involved. He's going to fundraise, have his minions pay for it, and they're going to gladly do it. Yeah, it's really sad. It's really sad, Kristen. In the one hand, one of the things in political science background, one of the things that is the most movable or the most exciting is when you can get a grassroots movement going. So yeah, of course you want those big dollar donations, but it's those payments, those $5, $10 ones that are just so many of them. That's where the real money can come in later. And so that's kind of what's happening here. It's kind of like a nickel and diming a lot of people. And people seem to be okay with that. And, that's all right. If people want to donate, they can donate however they choose. It's kind of hard when you're like, I'm not sure this is the best use of your money, but after all, it is their money. So people have mortgaged their house. Yes, they have. They have. And it's very, very similar to a lot of probably, I don't know. I guess for me, it seems a bit like, does anyone remember what was his name? Baker and like Tammy Faye. My gosh, she had just blue eyeshadow. I can't really remember, but he was this big dude who was like, oh my gosh, I'll cure everything. Everything will be great. You just have to give me, $5 or $10. And then he was so rich. And it came out that, he was kind of scamming people. Yeah, it was all him. What was his name? Was it Bill Baker? It was Tammy Faye Baker, wasn't it? Jim and Tammy Faye. Oh my gosh, Cody, thank you. Whoa, that one hurt my brain. Yeah, so kind of he's like Jim Bakering people. And that's hard to watch when you see it happen so much. Yeah, it's really hard. Okay, Jim and Tammy. Okay. Oh, phew, thank goodness. I couldn't quite pull his last name. I wasn't quite sure. But yeah, that's what they did, right? You just pass the hat around and you just give whatever you can afford because, that's all we can ask of you. And people did, and they, lived a pretty amazing life as a nonprofit people. So it is similar. It is similar. It also reminds me of, there was a reporter that said who was in the courtroom with everybody, with Judge Angron and everybody at the end of the civil closing statements, and she made a comment that just caught me. So I can't remember what his name was. Was it? Oh my goodness, the pyramid scheme guy. What was it? Bernie Madoff. Is that right? Judge Ingron was saying, does this remind you a little bit of that? And as soon as he said it, you know what I mean? The big pyramid scheme when he was arrested and taken in. Bernie, exactly. And yes, and I kept thinking like, wow, oh my goodness. Judge Ingron right there in the middle of New York, he would have some pretty good knowledge about Madoff. Absolutely. Yep. Okay, good. I'm terrible with names, everybody. But yeah, the similarities, though, are just... if you look at how the fraud was perpetuated and as they went through it, if anyone followed kind of what happened in that case, very similar kinds of fraud, but most importantly, the knowledge that it wasn't going to stop. So it just isn't, it's not going to stop. He's a legend. Yeah, he really is something a little different. He deserves a fruit basket. But if you think about it, the other part I would think of too is that the grassroots level, that $5, $10, that kind of money seems to get lost quickly and not accounted for quite as well. And people don't tend to say, oh, well, he's scamming me out of everything when it's, not that much. But then when it starts adding up, it gets to be a lot. So Billions and billions. Oh my gosh, exactly. And just lives destroyed, absolutely destroyed. So it's difficult to watch, everybody. It's difficult when you can see, fraudulent behavior and not do anything about it. Unless you're the people of New York, then you can do something about it. But other than that, oh, the Bitcoin nonsense. Yeah, that's another one too. Yeah. Yeah, there was the Bitcoin nonsense, and there was the woman that went to prison for the like genetically mapping allergies or something like that. I'm pulling the cobwebs here in my brain. But yeah, I mean, again, if you look at this kind of shady dealing again. We're dealing with the same kind of situation. Like, oh well, they just wanted to stay at my hotels. I'm sure they didn't even know it was owned by me, even though my name was on it. Like what? The dropper blood lady. Yes, thank you, everybody. Blood work. Okay, okay, okay. Thank you. I couldn't remember. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and she just went to prison too. Boy, I think the judge gave her actually she could make it to the holidays and then had to report in. Yeah. So, I mean, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, especially if it's a person that you think is going to lead you to happiness. It's a problem. So, yeah, one drop of blood. Yikes. Yeah, that was a mess. Well, and she was seen as this kind of up and comer with all of the money and all of the backing, and from one drop. Oh, that's so interesting. But again, yeah, the science wasn't there. So I don't know. There's a lot of similarities if you just look at the big. If you look at the big scams, everybody, there's a lot of similarities going on between that and campaigning in general, but especially when you've got these kind of nickel and dimers going forward. And again, he's paying millions in legal fees, and that's where their money's going. Maybe that's, again, where they want it to go, because, you give to somebody that you believe in, so be it. But it's a lot. It really is a lot, and it's hard to watch. I was thinking too, if we go back, sometimes a lot of times what we have in this country are we have factions that think, okay, well, we're here to fight against, the man. We're going to vote for Mr. Trump because he's not one of the mans. He's different, and we want someone new because we got to, burn down the bureaucracy or whatever. Not, and that a lot of that's been passed down from even the Sons of Liberty all the way back in the beginning with the revolution. But I think it's always really interesting how the people are used in order for the higher people, the more rich people, to get their way. So it's sad. One of the mans, well, yeah, I mean, that was the whole campaign thing. It's like, yeah, we're gonna, drain the swamp and take care of it. And it's like, dude, this is like capitalist. Like, he is the Banana Republic Caesar. Like, what? Flip that around. Like, oh my goodness. Why is the country paying for his hotel? Well, that's a great question, isn't it? I think. Well, right. I mean, there's just different demands. And apparently, I mean, government demands versus, corporate greedy demands, I guess, are two different men. But, either way, it's still the man. You're swamped with sea creatures. Well, and they kind of split the party, too. I mean, they split the Republican Party. And, I mean, everyone's really struggling with that. And, you got to do what you got to do. If you feel like you're going down the right road, you got to, chase that dream. But when you talk to a lot of the people that voted for Trump in 2016, I get it. I totally get it. I mean, we were kind of in a bit of a pickle because of everything that had happened, and the Obama, especially the last couple of years, were really rough politically. So everyone's like, oh, let's try something new. But we did try something new. And it's like, well, how'd that work? Well, it didn't work out great. Didn't work out that great. Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. So, again, it's like if you want something new and different, I'm not sure what exactly it is that you're wanting and if it's achievable. He promised to be more presidential. Well, right. It was an experiment that failed. Well, and you don't know until you try, right? I mean, you just don't know until you try. we would never have thought that someone elected to the office would be like, sure, I'll take your millions of dollars from my hotels and stuff. Like, most people wouldn't have really thought about that. What will happen with the report? It'll be used as a piece of evidence going forward. Congress can't issue warrants. They don't have executive branch authority in order to enforce anything. The best that Congress can do is provide information to the American people. And that's what they're doing. So through this letter, through the volumes 1 and 2, they're providing the facts, literally providing the receipts and telling the American people, like, are you okay with this? If you are, all right, fine. But if you're not, this is a fraction. If Mr. Trump came into office again, just a fraction of what would happen if that was to occur again. Yeah, on January 6th. Well, right. And I mean, it's just one of those situations where for some it seems like, well, do you not remember what happened during those 4 years? I mean, were they really that great? I mean, do you look back in history? People remember history. Somebody had said to me the other day that when it comes to Biden, because there's all these questions out about Biden, and I'm not campaigning for one person or another. That's just not what I'm doing. But this person I was speaking to said, in the end, there's really no need to make arguments for or against Biden, because when you walk away and you look back, the history will tell itself. And, that's the legacy that Biden leaves behind. But it's just that's important to take a look back at what our presidents have done. Like Grover Cleveland, I'm not so sure that was a really good choice either. So come on. I'm surprised they did not claim that he was not getting the money because he was not in charge. Yeah, the whole thing is kind of messed up because, again, there's these just basic premises in the Constitution. You just don't take something from a foreign entity. I mean, you just can't accept it or get permission first, and then you can. If he had gone to Congress and said, hey, this is my business. I'm not going to be president forever. I need to be able to live my life when I'm out of office, so it's just my business. Sure, why couldn't he make that argument, especially those first 2 years when they had all the power in one party? So, why not do that like the day he comes into office? But they didn't, and so now there's, he's in a bit of a whoopsie-doo-dah about it. Follow the money. Yeah, he didn't think he was leaving. Well, true. But, too, everybody, another thing that's always interesting to me that I found about Mr. Trump is he didn't really seem to want to be president. Like, every once in a while, you'll hear, the speech that you're like, oh, yeah, I'm here for, the people. I'm here to blah, blah, blah. But, I don't think he really wants to be president. Oppositional defiant disorder. Could be. Absolutely. Could be. Could very well be. Could very well be. I wouldn't say that wouldn't be a possibility. How's that? Purposefully voting for him because they want to make sure. Well, perhaps. Quick question. How much will it cost to appeal his New York fraud case? That's a great question, and I don't know. And I just don't know because of the New York appeal system. I just don't know. Some people are saying it has to be at least half of what the amount is. Some people say it has to be all of it. Some people say it just has to be a percentage decided by the court. I do not know how they're going to rule on it. I cannot figure out how a court would set an appeal bond for a $370 million verdict. I just am not sure or finding how that would happen. Dangerous part of him is that he doesn't know the law or the Constitution he presents. Well, yeah, and the thing is, too, if you've ever noticed, if you don't know anything about a subject and somebody's with you that you think knows a lot about the subject, then they're going to tell you something. So I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever someone's been whispering in his ear about the Fitzgerald v. Nixon case, and whoever's been whispering it is an idiot because I'm like, sir, you read that case incorrectly. And so that's kind of what's happening. He's got these people around him kind of, whispering in his ear, and he's like, well, all right, I believe you. Let's go forward on it, even though the information isn't correct. You can have good people around you all you want. And, Trump has had and continues to have some good people around him, but it doesn't mean that they really understand how the law works. So, right. He fired the ones that were telling. Well, right, Navy. And that's why, we don't really have the guardrails for this next situation. He was unqualified from the beginning. Never listened to it, but it's true. I would agree with that. Roger Stone, perhaps, although I don't think Stone's very happy with him right now. What happened to the Golden Rule? That's a great question. I miss it. I miss the Golden Rule, everybody. Because they know he will try the... Well, right. It's almost like, I hate to use this term that, he's a puppet, because I have no doubt he knows what's going on. I don't think he's some kind of ignorant, person that's just like, la, 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 I don't know what's going on, like a Homer Simpson style. I don't think that's true. But on the other hand, I think he really just can be convinced by someone with enough passion about a topic that they actually know what they're talking about. And I think that's the difference. And that's one of the problems in business is you get conned. I mean, they're like, oh, you can't con a con man. I'm like, well, that's not true. Oh my gosh, yeah, I saw that. Yikes! Well, again, the thing is, everybody, it's okay. It's okay for people to want that as their government. We just have to go and vote. And that's the thing about democracy. Whoever wins, that's how it goes. And then you have to, acknowledge and accept the results. And so that's why we've got to go vote. I don't do people's taxes. It's a bad fit. Well, yes, I can understand that. Yeah, they're serious. Again, it just reminds me so much of the Tom, Bill, John, Billy Bob Barker, and Tammy Faye. Oh my gosh, everybody. Jim Baker. It reminds me of I don't want to just group an entire group of people, but, the televangelists back in the old days. That's what it reminds me of. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible with names. I'm terrible. I've lost all my credibility. Oh my goodness. But it reminds me of that. It really does. Like the big shows, the big rallies, the big, get the mic and the music and everybody praying and come together. And it's like, woohoo, pass the bucket, pass the pan around to get your $5. All we need is $5. All we need is $20. It's like, wow. That's how they, in the classic televangelists that you think of from back in the, whenever that was. It's very similar to that. 1933 Germany. Well, I think it's just got a little bit different style of bells and whistles, but the theory's the same in a lot of ways. And then buy the cars and the jets and the mansions. Exactly. And fly all over the place. If you're in your yacht, grab a Supreme Court justice. Why not? Why not? Go for it. Jim and Tammy were great. Oh my gosh. Yes. Jim and Tammy. I've just got to remember that. For some reason, I block it out. You grew up watching the televangelists. Lisa, I tell you, the televangelists, when it comes to the gaslighting, whoo, if they could have bottled it, they could have been even richer. Because the gaslighting, what? Like, hey, you think you have a problem? You don't. No, I really do have a problem. No, you don't. But I do. I'm really in trouble. No, you're not. Like, okay. All right, fine. Take my money. Oh my gosh. Falwell. Well, yeah, exactly. And, if you go up to someone who is so entrenched in that, who is so part of that, and you say, hey, you believe incorrectly, you're wrong, or you're stupid, or you're uneducated, and, stop throwing your money away. That is not probably the best way to ask them to take a step back. You are healed. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, the tears, of course. Of course, why not hug an American flag? Why not do that? Come on. Used to send, oh my gosh, yeah, the 700 Club. But if it wouldn't even matter how many times you would speak with someone who truly believed in that it's like there was no way you could make a legitimate argument or a logical discussion. It just wasn't. It just wasn't going to happen. I got some dude from Knoxville, Tennessee. I know. It's just like, yikes. He tells people that they are the problem. True. But that's the thing too, though, when we got to be careful with the rhetoric, because when you use rhetoric like, you're in a cult, or this is a cult, or this is cult-like mentality, like people aren't going to listen to you. You're not going to be able to get someone to listen when you're using triggering words like that. That was one of the things that Gloria Steinem was talking about when it came to using the word feminism. There was such this huge backlash against the word itself that even, feminists were like, I'm not a feminist, because there was some negative attachment to that language. And I think that's a lot of what's happening to that word cult right now, is there's just this negative connotation. Like, it might be true, but using the word is not getting through to the people. So it is a difficult to say, hey, this is like cult-like, but don't use the word cult. Like, what's another word you can use? Well, yeah. Yeah, there still is, Kristen. There still is, exactly. And there will continue to be. And we've got lots of words like that. But I think right now, definitely the buzzword is cult. So if anytime you're talking with anyone, you're trying to figure out, well, am I trying to convince them of something, or am I trying to enlighten them, or am I just trying to keep myself safe? What's my purpose? If you throw out that C word, they're going to automatically just get all mad at you about it. Isn't any other word? Well, Cynthia, that's the challenge, isn't it? I mean, you can call a duck, but if a duck runs away every time you call him a duck, then it's not going to do him any good if you want him to stay and listen to you, right? You got to think of another word to call him. So I'm talking to a duck and I'm like, hey, you're a duck. And the duck's like, F you. No, I'm not. I'm going to run away. And I'm like, wait, I meant to say you're a frog. What are you going to do? Of course, you're going to be like, well, you're in your special group. You're a special creature. You are your own creature. It's hard to kind of figure it out. I mean, I don't know. This isn't, I'm not a real doctor. I'm not a medical doctor here, but yeah, I mean, that's what you try to say, the bees to honey metaphor. Like, you're not going to get bees by telling bees, come here, you bastards. That's not going to happen. So, which also isn't normal. True. It's true. It's not. It's a tough spot. And, it's exhausting. And I think people are exhausted. I think they're tired of telling people, why are you doing this? You're wasting your money. You're getting conned. We're tired of telling people that. Right. I did not. No, that's a legal terminology. If you go into wills and probate, you can look it up in Black's Law Dictionary. That is a legal technical term. That is not a swear word. Nope. No swearing here. Oh my gosh. I ain't going to prison for him. I would say that about everyone. I think that's a good general way of looking at it. Oh, anyway, so I don't know. There's just a lot of things at play, but I have to say, overall, was his letter good? It was well written. I think he had some good points. It was a persuasive tone. It certainly wasn't just informative. There was clearly a purpose behind his letter, and so the question is, do you think his purpose has been achieved? By writing this letter to Mr. Trump, do you think Mr. Trump has read it? Do you think someone's gone through and explained what it is? Or is Mr. Trump's like, look, I'm busy. I don't have time to read this. I'm curious about that too. I'm wondering how serious he took this letter. One of the questions I've always had is when it comes to money. You can usually tell, by how people treat money about how they are going forward on particular questions. In this question, they're saying, hey, basically, they're saying, you did something wrong. You need to, in their opinion, again, we don't have any kind of legal accounting for that. This is a legislative body. So when I say you did something wrong, according to the legislative body, let me clarify that. But if they're saying, hey, you did something wrong and you need to pay, what's he going to say? He's going to say, show me the rule that I broke, right? And they're going to say, well, here's the Constitution. And then he's going to file suit, is what I would say. We'll find out if he read it on True Social. Well, yeah. Money does seem to get his attention, which is fine. Money gets a lot of people's attention. So I'm just not sure. If you don't have any respect for a particular entity, like this committee or this person, then nothing they say is going to have any effect on you. So I don't know. I think this is more maybe for the American people, for the public, than it is for Mr. Trump itself. Trying to get him off the ballot. Yeah, I mean, right. Yeah, I mean, you just got to follow the rules. Rules are rules, administrative rules, qualification rules. Rules are rules. But I think it's easier to pick one. I'm trying to think of what Tammy Faye had as their people that they were against. Who was it that they were against? The other side. What would be the if Tammy Faye and Jim were Republicans? Who would be their opposite? That they're always it was the devil, right? I think it was the devil, wasn't it? Is that the equivalent? He's gonna keep getting ordered to pay people. I know. It's a lot. It is. It's a lot. He's gonna have some problems for a long time. It was the devil. Okay, so yeah, I mean that's a lot, right? Like, come on. Like you gotta find a villain to go after. And so you just think that you are the one that's in the right. It's hard to watch. It's difficult to watch. But I would say this was worth the time that it took for him to write it. She was politically neutral. True, fair enough, fair enough. Fair enough. She really was. She didn't really care. Now I'm using them just as an example, as if we were to see them as the Republican Party right now, who's the party that they are casting off and saying is evil? Because you have to always have someone that you're going after in order to get everyone to follow you, because you have to, come together for a common goal. Does Trump goes broke in less than 5 years from today? Oh, I don't think so. I think he'll always be able to find the money somehow. That's why he's been able to declare bankruptcy 6 times. I think he always finds it. And I think he will find it. So, yeah, I think there's probably plenty of money hidden around. He'll be able to pay what he needs to pay when he pays it. And he's probably thinking too, it's going to take 10 years before all the appeals are done anyway, before we have final judgments and actual letters. And then people may even have to file to have it enforced. So he may just be like, sure, I'll pay it. And then when the time comes, he's like, nope. And then that'll force them to file more lawsuits. Tammy Faye maybe Tammy Faye is not a good example, everybody. I'm just thinking of people putting on a big show asking for money. Finds a way. Yes. Yeah, he will find a way. He's got it hidden. Well, perhaps. It's around there somewhere. I don't think money is really going to be a problem for him to find, but there's I don't know. He's in my opinion, again, history will judge this situation, and we'll look back and after all of this has passed and the dust has settled and we've made it through, and we look back, we can go through how we can do it better next time, So, I don't know. She wasn't a saint for sure, but she had good qualities. I don't doubt it. I just don't doubt it. She had a very amazing way of speaking to people. He's lost more money than probably all of us combined. Oh, absolutely. He doesn't really pay his debts. Well, exactly. That's one of my points, is this will be all of these different kinds of debts that he has. Like, who's going to enforce that? So, he robs Peter to pay Paul. Yeah, probably. Yeah, it seems like it. So the rest of our lives to fix the damage that he's done. Well, it feels that way, Brian. I know it really feels that way, but we're constantly fixing the damage that was done. We've had so much damage done in so many different ways. I mean, we learn the hard way over here. We just instead of just sitting down and being like, oh, okay, that's a bad idea. No, we go and we throw stuff in the harbor and then figure out, wow, that was like a bad call. So, we figured things out the hard way, and we have to kind of clean it up. Of course, the number one biggest example would, of course, be slavery. So as the biggest example, today we are still dealing with the after effects of that forever ago. So it's a lot. Yeah, the damage to the climate, that's a great one. Exactly. The damage, there's just been a lot of damage done. But, with the Dobbs case and the reversal of Roe, I mean, women's rights, equality rights. So we've seen some damage, but it's all about greed. It seems like it. But, we kind of have to own that and then figure out how to do it better next time. That's the other thing, too, is we've learned a lot. There's a lot of lessons we've learned. There are laws that have been changed. I would have to say our elections now are like the tightest running ship in the entire world. This election in 2024 is going to be beyond secure. This will be the most closely monitored. If you think about it, every single local election person is probably like going through 10 months of boot camp getting ready. So every single paper, every single vote this will be like the absolute most secure election in the history of the entire world, because nobody wants anything to go wrong in their state or on their time. They're like, not this time. Everything's been put into place. They figured out where the weak links were. They figured out where some of the gray areas were, and they kind of shored them up. So I would say this next election is going to be just an absolute like Rolls Royce of elections. He may say it's stolen, but I mean, again, with that level of documentation, oh my goodness gracious. Holes in the Constitution? Absolutely, absolutely. And we have several. We have several when it comes to qualifications and disqualifications, and, we have to figure out how to come together. And Congress right now is so broken, there is just no way that we can move forward when one of our branches of government's that jacked up right now. So every single representative in Congress is up for re-election this year, everybody. Every single one. A lot of senators, great, I get it, but it's those representatives, everybody. You have to go and vote. You have to vote this year. Every single United States representative person is up for re-election or election. You have to go vote. Yep. I don't care who you vote for, just go and vote. And if you don't, then you can't talk. You can't talk about anything then. You're like, oh, I don't like how things turned out. Like, wait, did you vote? Because if you didn't vote, you need to hush. Again, and vote for go vote for whatever you think's best, the best candidate for the job. But I think a lot of people forget about how important it is to have a functioning Congress, and we do not have one. But technically this year with the voting, we could, by this time next year, have a functioning Congress. That's very exciting. It would be really nice to have a functioning Congress. Yep. Yeah, and if you can volunteer, of course, that would be great to help with your elections. And if you can't, you can't. But if you can, great. The other thing too, though, is, to just make sure you're already registered. Just do all your prep work. So if you fail to prepare to fail, right? So just do your prep work, get your prep work done. If you can help, great. If you can't, fine. But get a couple plan Bs and Cs in place in case your original voting plan doesn't work. So absolutely. But it's so important. It's the number one right in the Constitution. This is it. I mean, we really need to figure out what we're doing. One way or the other, we got to just figure it out. And the only way to know is to vote. So we got to do that. Yep. It's true. Gerrymandering is still, absolutely. But gerrymandering's been an issue since before we were the United States. So gerrymandering has always been an issue. Always, 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 always. That was even on the table when they tried to figure out if we were going to have one branch in Congress or two. So, gerrymandering goes all the way back. So that is something we've always had to deal with. So we deal with it. We look at it. It's like, this sucks, but, you figure out a way around it. Should all take a friend to vote. Oh, that's always good. That's always good. The buddy program, go for it. Wisconsin appears to finally be getting... Yes, I would have to say, especially Alabama, there have been several states, everybody, where there's some interesting things going on with that. So, yeah, gerrymandering's a problem. It's an absolute problem. I'm nervous about this election. Yeah, it feels like, I think everyone's just exhausted. We're exhausted. I think we're all worried about, what could happen, the possibilities, rather than focusing on, you get up, you do your job, you go home, you make sure you're registered to vote, and then you're good. Yes, you'll be the most you can do is help out if you've got time. You can volunteer, of course, but the most you can do is vote. I mean, that is the key. You just have to vote. So if you can do that and you're able to do that, then check it off the list. You've done everything in your power that you can to help. Still 10 months, a lot can change. Yeah, it's still early. There's a lot of time left. Oh my gosh. Well, it seems dangerous, but no matter what, VC, and this is, again, I have several friends from across the pond, and one thing I've said, back in 2020, 2016 is whatever happens, we'll make it through it. That's just what we do. We go through it, and it sucks. Sometimes it makes a mess, and then we have to clean it up, but we will get through it, one foot in front of the other. Yeah, you can absolutely just keep quiet and go vote. Absolutely, Kristen. Absolutely. It's completely up to you. It's your right. It's your right. And you can waive your right too, but I encourage everyone to go and enjoy that right and just say, hey, this is it. If you're ever going to invoke a right, it should be your right to vote this year, would be my encouragement. And your right to remain silent if Miranda's ever read to you. I encourage you to do that one as well. Both of those. Vote and remain silent. Best two things I can offer at this point. But, oh my goodness. Oh no, Pearl just got into my... Okay, all right, she's okay. Yes, absolutely. Be a good campaign slogan. This is it. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. This is it. This is it. You got to just go vote. Just go and vote. That's it. You don't have to talk about it, or you can talk about it, but just, yeah, the polls are really hard to tell. Made my hubby laugh again. Oh, oh, bless. It's so sweet. If I ever get arrested, I'm requesting the Trump treatment. Well, good luck with that. Good luck. You can always request. You're not going to outsmart the cop. True. And you think you will, but you won't. Keep calm and go vote. Exactly. If you vote, you're going to be fine. As long as everybody goes out and votes, we will be fine. If we have no voter turnout, we're going to have a problem. That's the key. As long as everybody votes, we're going to be good to go. I have no doubt. I'm going to say I never swore an oath. My goodness gracious. I'm not sure about... I'm sorry, that's my cat. Yikes, are you okay? Are you okay? My goodness, sorry about that. Oh my gosh. Keep calling me out. Oh, of course. Yeah, I'm sorry. I hope she wasn't too loud. Sorry about that. No, she's just got the sneezes. I have a sneezy kitty. I know. Oh, she's adorable. Yeah, she's been getting better with the sneezes, but if everyone votes, that would throw off the gerrymandering. Well, exactly, Navy, you got it. She's loud and cleared. Oh dear. Oh no. All right. Well. Oh my goodness gracious. Yes, she's getting much better, everybody. Pearl is getting much better. We have finished her antibiotics. Thank goodness. I can't get any more scratches on my hands. Do you have a humidifier? Yes, I do actually. I do have a humidifier, and she's always sitting with me too when I'm doing any of my vocal cord steaming, so she gets a little extra steam. Sometimes I try to give her facial. She's not interested, but it's available if she wants it. So... Really, to vote for school boards, that's exciting. That's very exciting. I have 35 cats. Oh my goodness. Well, if you've got a good home for 35 cats, go for it. When my dog sneezes, she gets a face plant on the floor. She's so close to, oh my gosh, that's adorable. That's adorable. Well, she was pretty sneezy in the, when she was in the clink, but during her prison time. But I figured, yeah, it's all right. But she's been into the vet, so we've got her kind of taken care of at this point. But oh my gosh, put her in the bathroom. Oh, absolutely. And actually, I have to kick her out of the shower. She has come into the shower twice now, and I'm like, dude, seriously, personal space. Oh my goodness. Oh, I love it. Well, yeah, kitty jail, also known as a shelter, which I'm very thankful for. Oh, yeah, you gotta make sure you have the space for it. So let her in. She might need it. I don't know. I'm afraid I'll squish her. I can't. She kind of blends in with because she's so white. Her fluffy white fur blends in. I'm like, I can't see you. Where'd you go? Oh my goodness. She wants soggy time. That's so funny. All right. Oh my gosh. Well, I digress, everyone. I've gone a little bit loopy tonight. I'll be the first to say it. So let's just remind everybody of what's coming up for this new week ahead of us here. So this is what it's looking like. We've got tomorrow, again, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a very important, very special day. We have big celebrations around our part in this area of the U.S., and so I will be going through the E. Jean Carroll evidence tomorrow to get us prepped for the Carroll trial that's coming up on Tuesday. We've got the jury trial set for the Carroll trial just for damages, so determining damages. Now, I will go through the evidence that's been presented as far as what the name of the documents are and the exhibit numbers and things like that. I won't be going into a lot of detail because I'm just not going to go into a lot of detail. We need to kind of walk carefully through the issues here. So I will be going through that as well as the motion in limine and what the judges decided is okay and what is not okay to be presenting to court, to the jury. Then Tuesday, again, I will be doing the Florida update. We will be hearing back about how jury selection's going. There is some question as to whether or not it's still going to go. I'm pretty sure it's going to go, but we will see. Did they reject the Trump delay? Suze, I've not seen yet. I have not seen that yet. Same story, new week. True. Oh my gosh, so true. All right, Wednesday I will be off, and then Thursday we have the briefs due for the Colorado SCOTUS case. So we have the amicus briefs due. Mr. Trump's brief is due, and that evening, 7 o'clock Central, I will be doing our Super 14th Amendment Live, where I'm going to go through all of the cases that have been filed and decided at this point and kind of break it down for you, along with some of the history of the 14th Amendment and going through some of that information. So if the briefs are filed, if Mr. Trump's brief is filed, I will probably do a summary of that brief as well, but we'll do a super live just covering the 14th Amendment then on Thursday. So yeah, I'm watching for it, Suze. It's that's kind of a big deal. I can't see them actually allowing for it. I would be very surprised, but it's possible. It's absolutely possible. So that's this week, Friday and Saturday. Then I will be off, and then we'll be back for our sub chat again on Sunday. So today was our third sub chat. I only do sub chats on Sundays, and the rest of the week I open my chats up for everyone to join us. Of course, lots of fun, but Sundays I do like to keep my evening ones. With the security. I agree, Suze. I agree. So I did do a live this morning. We went over the Alina Habba letter requesting that change of dates. And then we went over Mr. Trump's opposition to having to plead out an affirmative defense in the Florida case. We did that as our second live today. And then... may I DM you? Of course, Annette. Go for it. Of course, go for it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, my DMs are open. Yep, you bet. But if you want me to follow you, you have to tell me because I just don't want to intrude. So I'm happy to follow people. I just don't want to, be presumptuous. So just make it known if you want me to follow you back. Yikes. So anyway, that was really it. Then our sub chat tonight, we went over the Raskin letter. So it's been a pretty fun day today, everybody. Yeah, of course. So it's been great hanging out with everyone. My my kitty is so funny. She's back on in full play gear. Yes, have a great night. Did you see? No, I haven't seen your sailboat. Oh, Suze, I'm gonna have to go and check that one out for sure. Absolutely. So thank you all for coming and joining me tonight. And for all of you that were hanging out, even though you're not subscribers, I hope this was informational for you. Kind of went off on a little side note there, but it's been a long, fun day. So I will be back again tomorrow, 7 o'clock. My regular time will be going through the E. Jean Carroll evidence for the civil case coming up on Tuesday. So we'll be back to the regular format then tomorrow. And I look forward to seeing all of you. Thanks again for hanging out with me. And thank you to my subscribers. I'm so grateful for your time and energy and for all of your support for the toner and the paper and the highlighters and the moral support. So thankful. So very, very thankful. So have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, everybody. I hope you just have a great night. I'm sending all of you the best. Thanks, John. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. So have a fantastic night, everyone. I will be back again tomorrow and I will see you all then. So take care and stay warm, everybody. Have a good night.